Good afternoon, everybody. It is 2 o'clock on Thursday, April 9th, and here we are at about week 3 or so of our isolation, self-quarantine, and general trying to be safe. I hope you're all having a great day. It is I, Captain Awesome, and if you're here, that means it's tea time. And in fact, I have got some lovely tea, along with, check this out, a little frosted spice cake, cupcake that my son stayed up baked in last night. And so that was rather nice to get up this morning and see that, have a little treat for this morning. Couple of cool things today. I wanted to talk real quick before we get over to some critters that I have over here. That here, we're used to seeing wildlife in the frame of television and big and expansive. We see things like the show Earth or Oceans or Blue Planet or Nature, and we see lions and tigers and bison and things like that. But there's an entire bit of wildlife that exists on a very small scale. In fact, 60% of the species of the animals on the planet are microscopic. We never see them without the aid of a microscope or a magnifying lens of some kind. And that's important to know, because it means that even in this time where we're not supposed to be out interacting with other people and trying to be safe, you can find wildlife in your backyard. It just tends to be small or very early in the morning. If you're like me, I live in Sandwich, Massachusetts, which is kind of a suburban bordering on rural area. But if I get up early enough in the morning, I can see turkeys coming through my yard. I have squirrels. I have some sort of animal living underneath my shed. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I want to get up early enough to find out. But we have that wildlife. It's there. Much of it is very, very small. As the spring is coming along, we're going to see a lot of insects coming about. We're going to see carpenter bees, bumblebees, honeybees. We're going to see ants. We're going to see all that kind of stuff. All of those things are interesting in their own right and worthy of observing and exploring. My personal favorite hero scientist is a gentleman named E.O. Wilson. And a lot of what he came to just came about by using the powers of observation, watching ants. You can do the same thing. So I want you to know that. Keep an eye. Some of you are going to start seeing ants come into your house. Why are those ants coming into your house? Not just food. You've had food there all winter and all summer. But now, for some reason, you're going to see lines of them marching across your floor. Maybe you can figure that out. That's interesting. So, I am going to go to my live webcam because I went down to the Cape Cod Canal today, and I ostensibly went down to do some photography and instead found some really cool creatures. One that we've talked about quite a bit in the last couple of days. So I'm going to move over to the mobile webcam. I'm getting better at this. Hard to believe. And I'm going to show you this creature that I found this morning. Can you guys see that? That's right, it's a lion's mane jellyfish. Let me turn the light on, little rig up I've got here. What an absolutely beautiful creature. Let me go this way. There we go. So there's lots of these around right now. And here you can have a good look at their tentacles that are underneath the different parts of the jellyfish. There we go. That's better. Sorry about the shakiness. You can see the bell moving. You can see the ring of stinging tentacles that are around it. You can see the other tentacles that surround its mouth parts. This is a really amazing animal. And I did not have to touch it in order to pull it out of the water. I scooped it with the bucket that I have. Let me see if I can turn it. Hold on, look at me twice. Hold on. I don't want to spill this water all over my office. Absolutely amazing creature. See those tentacles? You can really see those tentacles really well. You know, he's stressed. He wasn't moving much when I found him. But we've talked a lot about lion's mane jellyfish lately, and I thought you might like to see one kind of up close and personal. When we're done, I'm actually going to get some good photographs and try to put it on the website. So hang tight, and now I'm going to go to another interesting little animal that we found. I'm going to put these guys on the floor. Put them on the floor. The water was really, really cold outside. Give me 1 second. And I built a little kind of a light box so we can look at a couple of these things. And this is a gooseberry, which is a type of comb jelly. Can you guys see that? Let me maybe turn off one of the lights. Can you guys see that? Those long contrails that he has. Let me turn him. See that? So he's there eating those copepods that we talked about. That's why he is there in the canal. I found these guys in the Sandwich Marina this morning, which was a pretty good find, I think. See that? Look. And you can see the cilias kind of moving along the edge. They create some iridescence. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful creature. And those long filaments are what have the nematocysts, which drag through the water and catch the little plankton that are there. You can kind of see the long hairs on the side of those filaments, and then the middle of its body is literally just a mouth and organs. And look, you can see that you can see the iridescence as it moves up along the side of the gooseberry. Really, really cool animal. And then, oh, look, you can really see the filaments spread out there. Look at that. Really, really cool. It's hard to find one and keep it intact. I had to be very gentle putting it inside. All right. And the last is actually kind of two animals in one. Okay? So this looks like algae. And in fact, most people would be forgiven if they thought it was algae. There's a little creature there on the algae moving back and forth. Do you see that? That's called a skeleton shrimp. Okay? There are a number of them on this little bit of what we would think is algae. And that's because they're long and skinny, and they live there, and their whole purpose is to hide in those areas. And let me see if I can find the right picture. Hold on. They hide in those bryozoans, hydrozoans, and they hunt. Similar to a praying mantis. Some of them are filter feeders, but many of them actually hunt actively in there. And that thing that they are living on is, in fact, what's known as a hydrozoan. If you see in this picture, we have these little kind of cups, tentacles on the end. Hydrozoans are a type of cnidarian. They are related to sea anemones and jellyfish. We talked about those the other day. So what I'm going to do is go on to the microscope. So give me 1 second. I'm going to go back to the webcam. Then I'm going to turn this on, And then I have to turn the TV. I may be doing this soon at the community center, community media center, which means this will all be much easier for me. There we go. And you can see the tentacle at the end of the arm. So that is not one large animal. This is hundreds of animals all living together in one unit. It's a colonial animal. Oh, terrible at this. So there you can see, ooh, even a little bitter. There we go. The tentacles. So these are small, easy to think that they're just algae and bits of plants down on the surface of down in the water, but they're actively feeding. They feed on the plankton and the other stuff that we talked about the other day. So now, let's see, actively still moving. If we go back over here, now we can go to here. This is the skeleton shrimp. Hold on. We can look at how these hydrozoas are. So hydrozoa, from water animal, right? Water is hydro, zoa is animal, and of course there's lots and lots of them, but they're very, these are very similar. Now there are freshwater versions as well. We would know them as hydra, and you may have studied them while you were in school. And there's lots of different species. Up close, it's easy to see the tentacle, but down when they're just in the water, they literally are indistinguishable from lots of different kinds of algae. We've got a number of different types that live in the waters around Cape Cod. I found a lot on the docks at the Cape Cod Canal today. I don't need much to show you, so I just grabbed what I needed. There were some bigger ones with longer stalks, but I could not reach them. This is another type that I had seen on the docks, but they were kind of far in the cracks, and we really couldn't find them. I couldn't reach them, and the water was frighteningly cold, very, very cold indeed. So that was kind of what I found today. That is the hydrozoa, the lion's mane jellyfish, the skeleton shrimp, and the gooseberry. Oh, I wanted to show you why it's called a gooseberry. Pretty straightforward. Look, it's round and has lines on it, just like a gooseberry. Remember, we talked about animals and plants are often named after their appearances, right? So gooseberry comb jelly is named because it looks like a gooseberry. A blue crab is so called because it color is blue, right? And that's all around the world. For instance, we all know what a walrus is. We're all familiar with the walrus with the giant tusks. Well, the word walrus actually comes from Norse, and the Norse is volros, which is whale horse. It's like a land whale, a big whale that's on land, right? Walrus, whale horse, or as we like to say here on Cape Cod, my ex-mother-in-law, but we don't see her out very often, so you don't have to worry. Yes, Jamie, there are lots of lion's mane jellies right now. There's tons of them on the beaches. There's tons of them in the water. Some of them are very, very small. Some of them are pretty big. The lion's mane jelly in the Arctic gets to have a bell 10 or 15 feet across and tentacles 100 feet long. Even if you find them on the beach, you should not touch them. The tentacles can still sting you even after they have gone by. Let me show you, I think I have a cool little video, give me 1 second, on lion's mane jellyfish that can tell you even a little bit better than me, and that will give me a chance to alright, here we go. This is a kind of a cool one. Can you guys see that okay?
Being a large, bulbous, and incredibly unusual creature of the sea, in this episode of World's Weirdest Animals, we bring you the lion's mane jellyfish. Known as the largest species of jellyfish, the lion's mane jellyfish, giant jellyfish, or hair jellyfish, as it's also called, is a cold water creature that can be found across the planet, ranging from the cold boreal waters of the Arctic, northern Atlantic, or northern Pacific Oceans. This jellyfish is commonly found in the English Channel, Irish Sea, North Sea, and western Scandinavian waters. The largest known specimen washed up on the shores of Massachusetts Bay in 1870. With tentacles 120 feet or 37 meters long, and a bell measuring 7 feet 6 inches or 2...
A bell, the top part, measuring 7 feet 6 inches, and the tentacles 120 feet long. 120 feet long.
0.3 meters in diameter, these big jellyfish are actually broken down into 8 lobes. Each lobe will hold 70 to 150 tentacles, which form 4 distinct rows. A balance organ is present along the bell margin, which keeps the jellyfish oriented properly. Moving in towards the mouth are frilly oral arms with stinging cells. Around 1,200 tentacles exist in this area. Described as feeling very sticky, the tentacles are unpleasant to touch and have those stinging cells.
The reason they feel sticky is because when the tentacle touches you, those nematocysts fire into your skin. So when they fire into a fish or a prey animal, it's literally like an attached harpoon, thousands of them along the arm, and then they hold on to that prey. So it feels sticky because it literally has fired thousands of microscopic nematocysts or stinging cells into you, and it is stuck to you. I believe that all of the tentacles that hang below the bell are capable of stinging, yes.
Best to keep away. These creatures tend to live in shallow waters in a sheltered bay, no deeper than 65 feet or 20 meters. With a lifespan of only 1 year, these jellyfish don't get a free pass on the predators.
1 year. They only live to be about a year old. So that means that in the right circumstances, this jellyfish can get to be 100 feet long and 8 feet across in a year.
Seabirds, large fish like ocean fish, sea turtles, and other jellyfish will happily eat a lion's mane jellyfish for dinner. Leatherback turtles will also gorge on them in the summer season around eastern Canada. On the flip side, these giant jellyfish consume zooplankton, small fish, and smaller jellyfish like moon jellies, which are snared by their long tentacles. Providing food and protection from predators, full-grown lion's mane jellyfish house many butterfish, shrimp, medusa fish, harvest fish, and juvenile prowfish. They move across the ocean by slowly pulsating their bodies, so it's important to be on the lookout for them if you're swimming in waters where they live. Not a major risk to encounter in the...
They are considered plankton because even though they swim and they move, the current is stronger than they are, and the current will move them through different areas.
Wild, like some of those ones in Australia. If stung though, you'll feel a stinging pain that'll leave a red mark on the skin. Greater risk and medical attention is needed if you directly swim into one, especially around their mouth area where those condensed 1,200 stingers lie. In July of 2010, 150 people at the beach were stung by the remains of a lion's mane jellyfish that were flowing throughout the water. It's possible all of those remains that stung everyone came from a single creature. Their colors vary based on their size. Larger lion's mane jellyfish will have a vivid crimson to dark purple color, whereas smaller ones will have a lighter orange or tan color, sometimes being completely colorless. Do you find sea creatures like the lion's mane jellyfish to be terrifying or interesting? Let us know in the comments down below. If you'd like to help support a petition focused around ocean cleanup of Canadian coastlines, I'll also leave a link in the description to that.
So one of the things I'm pretty lucky about is I live in an area where they're here. So I can, like I gathered this one today, I will get a lot of photographs of it. At some point, I will probably snip a little bit of tentacle and put it under the microscope so I can take a look at its nematocysts and see if maybe I can get a photograph, because that's the kind of stuff that we would like to do. The water was bracingly cold today, and that's going to start changing relatively rapidly. Pretty soon we're going to have fish moving in. The right whales are here eating in Cape Cod Bay. So the things that I am able to find and the things that we are able to look at are going to be changing drastically. We are going to be doing every Wednesday, when I can, a plankton day. I will go and collect plankton, and we will look at the plankton under the microscope and maybe track what comes and what goes. I can warn you that there will be yes, you can handle jellyfish if you're wearing gloves. I would recommend, if you're going to wear gloves, you should wear the nitrile gloves, something that you can dispose of. I have heard that kind of cloth gloves the nematocysts will fire into them, and that you won't get the venom in you, but the venom could potentially be on the gloves. So you should wear nitrile gloves that can be disposed of. But yes, I have handled them with gloves and haven't had any adverse effects. So we're going to maybe track what we find for plankton, and then I will warn you that there is a time, a 1 week period, where when I do the plankton tow, literally all I catch are comb jellies. That net that I have completely fills up with comb jellies, and we don't have anything else. Animals that are going to start reproducing soon are the anemones, are the sea worms. I think one of the things I'm going to do one of these days is get out to the mud flats, dig up some mud, and just take a look at what we find, and maybe a square yard of mud, sort it out, take a look at it under the microscope, take a look at it in collection plates. There's a lot to see out there. If anybody is interested, I'm thinking about doing a little bit of a chemistry lab as well, where we'll talk about oxygen levels, salt levels, things we can predict with that sort of stuff. Just trying to keep everybody active and happy. I hope that you are all being nice to each other. I hope that you're all watching good stuff on TV. I hope that you're being good to your neighbors. I hope that moms and dads are enjoying their time with their children, and that the kids are enjoying time with their mom and dad. It's been difficult for a lot of people. I'm a mariner, so I work at sea for long periods of time. And I'm a chef in that role. So my whole life when I'm at sea for months at a time is the galley and my room. So that job has kind of prepared me for what we're going through right now. And I'm thankful that I'm home so that I can get out there and collect some stuff and take you on hikes with me, and we can all explore our little bit of the earth. If you guys are looking for other interesting stuff to do, Macaroni Kids Cape Cod on Facebook or the internet has a list of people like me, people doing live feeds and live programs every single day. Also, I would recommend now checking out a lot of live webcams from around the world. I was looking at a African watering hole the other night, because it's day over there when it's night here. That was kind of cool. And there's a lot that you can learn that you normally maybe wouldn't even be interested in. That's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you here tomorrow. Guys, be good. Remember, if you're here with Captain Awesome, it means that you're awesome. So you should stay awesome, and we will see you tomorrow. All right? Bye-bye.